Hello friends, welcome you all once again lecture series Machining Science and Machine Tool. I am Amit Tiwari, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Suresh Kianwar University, Jaipur. Today is fifth lecture and the topic of today's lecture is design of single point cutting tool and their material. So let's start. The objective of the lecture is to design the tool shank. Basically, the tool shank I'm just describe you as later because first of all you understand the geometry of a single point cutting tool, and after that you will be understand to what is shank, and after the shank you will understand how the shank will design. So the basic objective of the lecture is to design the tool shank. Second is design of single point cutting tool, and the select appropriate tool material of single point cutting tool. What type of material we selected for the single point cutting tool fabrication. So the today objective of these 3 points we will cover into the lecture. Second is the outcomes of today lecture is to understand the single point cutting tool design and their angles. They are different angles, and how the design consideration will be taken for making the single point cutting tool. So we will discuss after the lecture. You will be able to understand the geometry and as well as understand the design parameters of single point cutting tool. Second is to understand the various tool material in single point cutting tool, because there are too many materials are in our engineering mechanical engineering world. So what type of material we select for appropriate cutting for single point cutting tool, and where the cutting will be proceed as a good or surface finishing will be occur. So what type of material parameters are selected on a single point cutting tool, you will be understand after the end of the session. So first of all, design of a tool flank is our most important part. That is the shank is the top and the top face of the, that is we can say the material will be flashed over the workpiece. When you cut the workpiece and the material are drawn into the surface of the shank, and with the help of this cutting parameter will be happen like tool speed is increasing. Then what happened, that tool increasing the tool increase with the speed of the cutting tool, the material will be removed on the surface of workpiece in the formation of the chip, and the chip will just slightly move away on the front of the shank portion of the single point cutting tool. So you must just so on the see on this diagram, this is a flank portion of a strength, and in which the strength of a cutting tool is generally analyzed for strengthening and rigidity. Basically, the cutting tool, the shank is generally analyzed for the strength and rigidity. So, the tool is assumed to be loaded as a cantilever by tool forces at the cutting edge, as shown in the figure. You can see the diagram that is I'm showing on you. So with the help of these, we can understand that the forces act on a cutting edge. These are the cutting single point cutting tool at the cutting edge. The forces are act on a cutting edge, and what happened at the time? The initial length, that is you can see here L0, are considered as a initial length is L, and the final length of this cutting tool is LZ. That is the cutting length. Okay, and the original cutting length, because we know that during the cutting forces are act on a particular tool edge, it will transfer to the further move to the workpiece, and the workpiece are just starting to cut with the help of these tool forces, and the formation of chip is generated. So with the help of the diagram, I just understand you at giving the information about how the design of shank will be considered, because with the help of cutting force, you can see this is a force AFR act on a end portion, that is a cutting edge. This is the cutting edge of the cutting tool. So you can see here that this is a width are considered here, and is the height of the shank. So what happen when generally you can just doing a machining operation from like a single point cutting tool on the lathe machine, while during cutting you must be observed there are the certain forces are acting, and due to these forces there are so much vibrations are occur on that particular tool material and as well as the workpiece material. So during the chances of it will be just giving some accuracy or the fine finishing we require to maintain the vibration for how to maintain the different type of forces, because what type of forces are occur in that particular edge of the cutting tool. There are some forces are lateral forces, and some linear forces are act on that. The basically you can see here, this is a vertical force F is act on a cutting edge. So the definition of the force of the cutting edge is to just and at the end of the port, so what happened, and this is the cutting edge, there's a much more amount of force are generated. That's why the strength and the toughness of the tool material will goes to decreasing, because they are increasing the too much forces at the particular end. It must be chances that the material of tool will be decreases, and to reduce their quality, because the sharpness will be reduced as per the different machining operation will be performed on a machine tool. So what happened basically, while during machining, the tool act as some forces on the cutting edge. Just as mentioned the line here, the cantilever, just you can see this is a cantilever beam type showing the diagram. And by the tool forces act on the cutting edge, tool forces act on the cutting edges. So the tool forces act basically to reduce the sharpness of cutting edges, to reduce the material of the cutting edges, to weaker the material of cutting edges. So these all are the problems we are facing when we doing any machining operation. So with the help of the tool, with the help of the shank, it can prevent by increasing the strength or increasing the rigidity of the tool. So basically, the cutting tool in the shank generally plays role in the for increasing the strength and as well as to increasing the rigidity of the material. So that's why we are designing the shank portion of the cutting tool, side end point cutting tool, and we can say the single point cutting tool as basically on the shank portion are covered for preventing the strength and for increasing the rigidity of the material. So these all are the basically problem we considered during the machining operation or doing a lathe operation or any other machining operation which we can do performing the material removal rate. So this is a some diagram I'm explained you force under acting on the tool shank. So tool shank, I'm just simply we can say tool shank is designed for analyze for strength and the rigidity of the tool material, as well as to protect or to prevent the material from the damage or any breaking load act on that particular point. Because we know that on a single point there are too much forces act on it on the cutting edges. It may be chances that this portion will be break as soon as possible, or their ultimate tensile strength will be reached. So every material have their unique strength, that is the hardness, toughness, ductility, and we can say it is the ultimate tensile strength, because they're depending on the force acting on that point, and the other different type of force acting at point. So it not be considered as a single forces, because some longitudinal force, some lateral force, some vertical forces, some horizontal forces act on it, act on the time of cutting edge. Okay, because just you can see here the simple diagram, and when you are cutting any machining operation, that what happen, we can increase in the spindle speed and decreasing in the feed rate. Then what happen? The feed rate will remove the with the increase in the feed rate, the material will remove the faster, and the material will remove the faster. That means that the chip formation must be grow as a faster, and at a time the due to the high speed of the cutting speed and high speed of formation of the chip, that is increasing the too much amount of temperature on the surface of the cutting edge, and as well as the increasing the surface of the workpiece also. So with the transfer of the heat is to convert it into the much more temperature, and with decreasing the surface roughness quality and decreasing the material property, because some elements are burned in the internal portion. If you check in the microstructure zone, there are some elements are burned with the increasing the temperature while increasing the cutting speed. So it must be reminded during the cutting operation, it is the most important part to understand that the various forces act on that particular cutting edges. So we prevent for the cutting edge, we required shank portion, and the shank generally analyzed for used for this giving the strength and the rigidity of the tool, because it is used for generally to prevent the material or to secure that some type of forces are acted. Suppose their impact forces are act on, we can suddenly increase the spindle speed and suddenly increase the depth of cut and decrease in the spindle. Then what happens? There are too much force act on that particular edge of the cutting edge, and with the respective tool, the tool will transfer their forces to the cutting removal material at that point, where the material will remove. The material will remove as a formation of chip, but that chip will be formed as a thick, and the thickness of the chip will be not required. So at that time, the rack angle will decrease. So the decrease in the rack angle and goes to negative. That is why your machinability is not good, and the surface quality of the product is not good. So because for preventing this type of problem, we require a shank. So that's why we used for shank on a single point cutting tool to prevent or to providing the strength and the rigidity of the tool. So that is some description of this particular slide. on a single design of a tool shank. I hope you understand this phenomena. What are the generation of and how the force generated, and what type of phenomena happening at a particular point. So I'm just described you all this point on this PPT on this slide. Now there is a second that means we can say that is a deflection portion, that is deflection and frequency of the chart of several hovering values. Generally what happen, these are the some the graph between, you can see in there, graph between the LO by H or the DU, that is mu m. This is some percentage of deflection. This is 5%, 10%, 15%, 22, 30 and 35%, and these are the some frequency of character chatter for several overhanging value, where you can cut the material with increasing the number of forces or increasing the number of RPM. You can see the increasing the number of RPM, and the deflection are increasing as the rate of value increasing the RPM with increasing the depth deflection also. So with the help of this, we can understand whenever your material will reach the length approximation to 50 mm. At the 50 mm, you can see this is the approximation 150 100 100 1500 degree 500 RPM you will reach. At that point the deflection will be comes under the act of this is 16 to 17 mu m. So whenever you increasing the depth of whenever you increasing the more cutting splinter speed, the splinter speed will increase as the time the deflection also rapidly increasing. So the graph you can see here for increasing the splinter speed as well as the increasing the depth of cut, and we can say the deflection also increasing with respectively increasing the splinter speed. So these are the some characterizations to understand the phenomena how to decrease the deflection while increasing the cutting speed. This is the main question. We want to increasing the cutting speed but decreasing the deflection. That is the objective of this PPT, to understand that. So what we do for happening, if you increasing the cutting speed and the deflection portion is minimum, that's why you can say that your material is under the good category, or we can say it is a good machinability occur on the surface of the material workpiece. So we can understand with the help of increasing the depth of cut. When you increase the depth of cut, you must be reminded the cutting speed will be slow, or as you can say the feed rate will be slow. But at a time the rake angle will increase. So this time the formation of the chip will increasing at a very more thickness. Okay, so this is not required. This is a wastage of money, and this is a too much excess amount of material will remove. This is not required for our machining purpose. So for that we can understand that if we increasing the cutting speed, we reduce the depth of cut and increasing the feed rate. With the help of this, the metal removal rate will be fast, and that time the machining time you will be taken as very very less, because due to material, if you take the, or we can save the machining timing, it will help to understand to prevent some power consumption as well as the tool life also prevent, and the material wastage will be prevented by this. So with this diagram, I'm just giving some overview of how if you increasing the spindle speed with respect to that, you must be reminded if the deflection will be increasing. That means that your material are not both under the category of good machinability, or we do not say that this product will be as a fine finishing, because if you want to get good finishing, you must be decrease the deflection, increasing the cutting speed. But the increasing of the cutting speed be required. I am just described you all the things in my previous lecture. That's the lecture number 4. In that I am just told that while increasing the cutting parameter, that is the cutting speed will be increased. At that time, you must be reminded the rake angle will increase. The rake angle will increase, or larger the rake angle value, that means our machinability will be good, or it can achieve the desired property which we can want to fabricate at particular time. So while during machining, you must be required the rake angle will be positive, and as well as the cutting edge will increase with decreasing the deflection, decreasing the material removal, or decreasing the surface roughness. So this is our objective, to understand the basic concept of cutting parameters. So the cutting parameter, there are 3 types of cutting parameter. Basically, we have the spindle speed, cutting speed, that is we can say, or feed rate and depth of cut. So both 3 parameters are dependent to each other. What parameter increases with the expect increase of that parameter, then what parameter goes to decrease. So these all are the depending on to each other. So it will be just when you are doing a practical or cutting any machining. So you must be remind that at that portion, what we'll do, we do the some practical approach or to designing the proper format or designing the standard characterizations for cutting the material. If you are not taking this some standard parameter, then it will be chances that your material will be not giving the good quality, as well as it will not prevent from the tool life. Because if tool will break, then that means the damage of money, either wastage of money, either power loss of power consumption, and most important that the time will be wasted of the period. And in the industry, what will we consider is each and every minute is very important for any production of the product. If you product and consider as some small product or a large product, each and every second is very important for production. So while during the production, you do not just show this type of mistakes. For preventing this, we can understand the parameters and what are the role play of that parameter to each other on their platform. Because generally, what happen? I'm just telling you with the help of this diagram. If you increasing the cap top cut, if you increasing that spindle speed, if you decrease the feed rate, then what happen? It must be there are too much amount of forces act on that this at this point, and this point whenever the cutting forces is too much increased, the tool maybe chances will break or it will be cracked on the surface of the tool. So this is the damaged portion we will not require to for machining. So that's why we can say that for preventing the material of tool life, or for preventing the good surface finishing, or to reducing the machining timing with increasing the productivity, we require to understand some cutting parameter. With the help of this graph, I'm just showing you simply that while if you are increasing the number of speed, that is a cutting speed, and in terms of the frequency, we can say this. But at the time, you also know the diffraction also increasing. So this is not a required condition. This is a not required condition for increasing the cutting frequency or cutting speed. The diffraction also increased. It is not required because this is the wastage, but this is the loss of the product. This is the loss of money. This is the loss of time saving. Because most of the time industries we demanded that if you set some specific parameter for a CNC lathe machine, so you have no any precaution tag to, because the command will be operated by the fully automatic with the help of some sensor will predict the how much parameter you will taken for this particular operation. So they reminded because you are just doing a coding of the computer with the help of the computer. So the machine will read all the instructions and they will follow the instruction according to the what type of instruction you will provide it to the machine. But in the case of manually, you will be operated. So you must be reminding your mind while during the machining operation, you will just take that if you increasing the speed, cutting speed, you should be decreasing the depth of cut and increasing the feed rate. For that, you will be achieve the good surface finishing or reduce the surface roughness. So that's our objective. Basically, for machining tool, there's a main objective of the machining is that to increasing the surface quality, to increasing the surface finishing. That is our main objective in a machining process. So when we will achieve the good surface finishing or good surface quality, or with the minimum investment of cost, because the cost is directly proportional to the product. If you purchase any product, you will used to be reminding your mind that is what is the product or what is the price of this particular product. If there are too much price, you will be skip this product and you will be search another product respectively to with the low price. If there is no good quality, you can achieve it because the price matter. So the price is directly proportional to quality. If you increase in the quality, you will increase the price rate. But in the market, if you increase the quality and decreasing the price rate, it will survive more and it stand in a very long time. You will be achieve that type of product in the market. A customer will be increasing that type of product. Yes, this product is very good quality with a minimum investment of cost. So with the measuring parameters is most important while during the manufacturing any product. So this type of product you will fabricate with the understanding this type of graph. I'm just telling you about while you are increasing the cutting speed or increasing the frequency of any material, well, power frequency, it will decreasing with the deflection. If deflection will not decrease, that means that your machining operation will not be successful. For preventing such type of problems, you must be reminded while selecting the cutting parameter values. Now there are some notation used in a design that is we can say design of shank. There are some given below. First is F, that is a permissible tangential force during machine. Permissible tangential force acting on the machine, that is in Newton. This is a frequency, is another F, but in the italic form, that is we can say it is a chatter frequency, cycle per second, CPS. The full unit is CPS, cycle per second. H is equal to depth of shank in mm. Capital P is equal to width of shank in mm. L0, that is capital 0, is equal to length of overhang mm. Small d is equal to deflection of shank mm. Capital E is equal to Young modulus of material, Newton per meter mm square. Capital I is equal to moment of inertia in mm power 4. Small h under C indicate the height of center in mm. Sigma ut, that is ultimate tensile strength in Newton per mm square. Sigma PET, that is permissible shear of shear material, Newton per mm square. And L is equal to length of center mm. So these all are the notations using in design of shank. Whenever you design a shank, these all are the notations we will consider for it. So basically, what happened? This slide shows the description about the main design criteria for the shank size is rigidity, because you must be reminded that whenever you design the shank size, the most important criteria is rigidity. The material will be rigid. Okay. And the deflection at the end cutting edge is limited to a certain value depending on the size of machine. What we can say, the deflection at the cutting edge at the end portion where the cutting edge start to cut the workpiece material. So these are the cutting edge. The deflection at the cutting edge, at the point of deflection, that is the cutting edge, okay, is limited to a certain value depending on the size of machine. Okay, that's why it's very commonly used, because whatever the size of machine is depending on the certain value, what type of value we will be put on the some parameters for cutting the material, and with the help of this cutting edge, there are some deflection or act on it per point. Okay, so the cutting condition and the tool overhang, that is the cutting condition and tool overhanging problem will be reduced by reducing the such type of deflection will increasing for this parameter. You will decrease that type of parameter, and with this you will prevent the machine and you will prevent as well as the cutting conditions and the tool overhang problem. Now, what the tool overhang, that is indicated by the L0, is related also to the shank size as well as the end supported condition. Basically, what happened at supported condition is basically just we can say that it can relate the overhanging problem with the tool size, shank size. If the shank size is not large, then what happen? Then it will be not, the material will be not good rigidity, as well as the material are not stronger with the increase in the force, because whenever the force is acting on the material of the cutting edge, you must be reminded that the cutting tool is more harder than the workpiece. If the workpiece is more harder than the cutting tool, that is must be chances that your product, your cutting tool will be damaged in some certain force after a certain time, because it will not survive the long time, because we require the too much harder material. As for the when the comparison, we can say the material of workpiece, the hardness is for example 150 UTS, then you can increase in the material size of cutting tool, that is the 500 UTS. It is much harder than that workpiece. So the ultimate tensile strength is the most important part for selecting the shank, or as well as to design the single point cutting tool material geometry. Whenever you design the tool geometry, you must be reminded that the strength and the toughness of material is too much harder than the workpiece. So in the figure, you can see here, basically in this figure, you can see here the graph of the amplitude and the frequency of chart of observable overhang value. We can also discuss now some few minutes. And this figure, basically the only below the L0 by H is equal to 2. That is, you can see here, this is L0 by H, that is we can say, okay. And the amplitude is particularly 0, and the determinant for the values is about 1.2 and 1.1. For the given value of chatter frequency F, the shank deflection can be calculated from the following. That is the deflection, flank deflection. You can say what is F? F is the chatter frequency. If you find out the frequency of the particular design of shank material, you will use this formula. With the help of this formula, you will be find out the frequency of Shank. So these are the standard number from calculating by the engineering scientific number. We can say it used 15.76 for the Shank design. Under root D. What is small d? I have also mentioned it is small is a design or deflection of Frank. How much the deflection of Frank under the some certain forces. So what type of forces act? How much quantity of the force act on the design of flank, and how much number of deflection occur on the surface of shank. So it will be calculated by this formula. So where d is the deflection in mm. Now as chatter frequency range from the 80 to 160 cycle per second. This is cycle per second is the unit of the frequency. So chatter frequency basically comes under the specific category, that is the 80 to 160. And let the 100, that is we can say if we, the 100 we can achieve, we can see under the frequency, and d is the diameter, that is 100 time we can put the value of this. You can find out that d is equal to 0.025 mm for example, and is giving you to understand the better information about the designing of shank. Now what happened in this diagram, in this equation you can find out the permissible deflection of shank range is 0.025. That is we can find out the deflection of a shank, and the permissible deflection range is we find out as the 0.025 mm. Okay, for a finishing cut on the 0.9 mm for the rough cuts. Okay, so these are the four finishing cut for 0.9 mm for the rough cut. So whenever you consider the shank as a cantilever, then the formula is d is equal to FL0 power 3 divided by 3e into I, and you will solve with the respective formula for this particular put the values of this formula, and we can find out the d is equal to 0.025 mm 5 again. So what happened basically, you can put all the values in that particular nomenclatures. You can find out the again d as you consider the cantilever, and this formula you can find out d with the as you consider as a chatter frequency. Okay, so now it can be noted that the same value of d has been obtained. You can see here this is the same value for the cantilever beam. You can obtain the same value 0.025 mm, and for the deflection case when you calculate the shank deflection, the same value will be occur 0.025. So the deflection value and the shank cantilever film, both the values are same. So at the time the same size can be estimated with respect to machine tool by the following method. If the two values are both the values are same for the cantilever shank and as the deflection of shank, then what will we do? So we do the first step is A, that is the force F on a given size of the lathe is given by F into frequency into T into C. You can put the values of particular notation, that is F is equal to feet on the mm, T is the thickness in the depth of cut in mm, and C is the cutting forces constant. So you can now put the values of that particular, you can find out the values of forces act on that particular lathe machine size. And the second one is the Nicholas Manchester experiment. This is some scientists we can perform the experiment, have a set of a standard area of cut for the lathe design given by AC is equal to F into T. That is F is equal to HC divided by 180 mm and T is equal to FC divided by 25 mm. Where you can find 25 mm, we can find out the standard formula for designing this designing of shank. So you can now put the values of AC is equal to HC upon 180 into SC upon 120, and you can now the square root which is then the square root of HC square and divided by into 180 into multiplied by 25. You can find out 4,500 mm square. So these are the basically we can say these are the area of cutting. You can find out here. So where you find out the H of the center of MN, you can put the value ultimate tensile strength. The ultimate tensile strength of the particular product is 414 Newton per mm square. C is equal to 4 into sigma ut. You can now put the 4 into sigma ut. Sigma ut values 4 into 4,440. You can put the value and you can find this term. So with the help of this, you can put this C value and that particular formula, and you can find out the value of H. F, that is force acting on the shank, that is a 0.4 SC square up into N. Now what happened? Now substitute the value of F, that is 0.4 SC square. In equation 2 we can find that D is equal to 0.4 SC square under bracket into L0 power 3 divided by EB H cube. So you can now just put all the values, and you can find out the equation from the D, from the value of the D. You can put the equation of value of D in the from equation 2, and after solving a multiplication 4 into 0.4, you can find the value is 1.6 SC square, and this formula you can find out. So the value of the B is the 0.6. You can put for the rectangular. It's a standard format. All the values are putting on that particular nomenclature, and you can find out the this value Hc square upon H square is equal to 1000 minus power minus 2. So what happened? Basically these are some standard size and some standard shank according to rules. If here the height of the center is reach 250 you can choose the height for shank H is equal to 20 and the bit is equal to 12. If the height of the center reach 300, you will select the size of the shank is 30 for height and 20 for bit. If the size of the center, height of the center of reach 350 then you will choose the shank size. The height is 40 and the bit is 25. So these are some standard parameter we have selected for this, and with the help of the shank, you can find out the value, or you can find out the formula for the strength. You can find out the formula of the strength with the help of this formula, because you just show on the diagram on this figure. You can find out the value of sigma 1. So you can put the value and the reciprocal to each other. You can find out the value with the help of this formula sigma 1. Okay, so now though basically what happened, the depth of shank, that is H maximum, must to be less than the value of HK as shown in table. I am just showing the table. Okay, so when the effect of the Fx including, when you include in the effect of Fx, that is the total forces, the sigma is equal to sigma 1 plus sigma 2, and the total force is we elaborate the value of sigma 1 is this one, and the elaborate the value of sigma 1 is this one. After it, you will be find the effect, that is a component of force acting on the x direction in Newton. So the Fx is equal to 0.3 to 0.40 F, and hence the formula you will put the value, and you will put the formula expressed by this one. And this is the F is equal to curly bracket, you can say curly bracket P H divided by under bracket 0.4 B divided under bracket close plus under bracket 1 upon H close and curly bracket close and sigma upper and plus sigma L0, and finally F is permissible tensile force during the machining. So you can put the formula. This finally we can derive the formula and for find out the permissible tensile forces during the machining. So with the help of this formula, what we'll do, if you are finding some tangential permissible forces when you are doing any machining of any operation that you can perform, and for on the lathe machine or any another type of machine, if you find out the value of a tangential permissible force, you can put this formula for that. These are the final derivation we can carried out after this discussion. So basically, I understand that I hope you understand more, and you will able to find out the permissible tangential force after the derivation we will discuss, and you can find out the value whenever you're doing a practical regarding to this machining operation. I hope you understand. Now basically the design of tool geometry. The design of tool geometry, the basic elements of the tools are shown in figure. I'm just showing you some diagram where you can see here, these are the side cutting edge. These are the side cutting edge, you can see here. This portion side cutting edge, this portion is the end cutting edge. We're discussing all the parameters were expected from previous slides about discussing about the end cutting parameters. You can see the diagram. So basically this portion are covered under the while doing machining, because this remaining portion are hold on the toolbox, and remaining portion will use for the cutting the material workpiece. So these are the best portion we can set a side cutting edge cutting edge, and these are the end cutting edge. You can see these are the end cutting edge. Okay, these are the nose radius. You can see these are nose radius used for preventing the material from the tool for breaking. These are some block diagram. These are a shank portion. I am just considering about designing of shank. Basically, this is a designing of shank. We will be whatever discussing about a shank. This is the portion we are considered for in a single point cutting tool for designing the tool geometry. Now symbol are used in alpha p is equal to backrack angle. Alpha A is equal to side rake angle, theta E is equal to end relief angle, theta S is equal to side relief angle, CE is equal to end cutting edge angle, CS is equal to side cutting edge angle. So these are the some symbols used in the figure. You can see here theta alpha B, theta C, theta S, alpha S, CC, and CS. So these are the nomenclature of a design of tool geometry of single point cutting tool. So what happen when you are doing any machining? What happen basically? Just we are doing for a special type of basically the alpha are the cases for the back rack angle, side rack angle, and relief angle. So for example, just for doing some example, what we do, the tool signature of high speed steel, that is we can indicate from the 0-777 -15 -15 -0.5. So what will be considered single point cutting tool if the question arises in the diagram? You can see here, if the question arrives in the examination or a competitive examination, that you can find out the significance of that what type of value indicate this particular parameter. So the simple understanding, basically the back rack angle, that is starting from the back rack angle, the starting to end, the direction of the starting is from the top to bottom. So the first numerical value will show that the back rack angle is equal to 0 degree. Second 7 here, so it can show that the side rack angle 7 degree. Now third one is end relief angle, that is also 7 degree. Side relief angle, this is also 7 degree. Another one is 15, that is indicate the end cutting edge angle is 15 degree. Another one is 15 is equal to side cutting edge 15 degree, and the 0.5, it is the nose radius. The nose radius indicates 0.5 mm. So basically, if you find out the question regarding to tool signature of high speed cutting speed stitch tool, and the number are shown here, so those number what indicate? Those number what indicate is indicate the number for particular nomenclature. So this is the starting to end nomenclature you will be follow while you are doing any cutting or machining operation for any machine. So it is basically some questioning arise that how we can justify this is a good machining or this is not machining parameter, because just standard parameter I have just told you that is the parameter will used for standard, this is back rack angle, first, second, side angle, third end cut relief angle, side relief angle, end cutting edge angle, side cutting edge angle, nose radius. So these are the standard parameters are used for sequence wise. That is the first is this, and another one is this, and third one, fourth one, and end of the one the number of decreasing. When you decreasing the number, you can find out the number of name of the nomenclature of the particular numerical number form. So I hope you understand the portion of a design of shank. Basically, design of shank are used for the good strength and the rigidity. And with the help of the derivation, you can find out the formula of F, that is a permissible tangential force. If you find out for any machining, what type of permissible tangential force act on a cutting edge parameter, cutting edge, so you will be find out that formula from that derivation. So it is very helpful to understand the designing of shank. I hope you will be understand and enjoying. Now the second portion is of this PPT or the lecture is the selection of the tool material. Selection of the tool material is very important, because the tool and engineer, as a tool engineer, if you're working as the industry and you have a play role in for it as a tool engineer, then what type of requirement you will select for this good quality of material. You can say this is a good quality of a single tool point material. This is a good quality of workpiece material. So what type of quality you will be enhanced, and for that, what material you will be selected for the variety of product for cutting tool, jigs, punches, die, special machine, etc. And tool engineers must possess the knowledge of this material and understanding their property. So these all are the some selection parameters will be considered during the machining process. And basically what happened that while during the selection of the material, it must be reminded that the tool material is much more harder than the workpiece material. This is the most important requirement for cutting of machining operation. So whenever you select the tool, you must be reminded that what the specification of the tool's workpiece. After the reading of the carefully for the specification of workpiece, the selection of the workpiece, you must be reminded that this is the workpiece property. Now you will be select the property of the tool which is more harder than the workpiece. With this, you can cut the material very successfully or without the damaging of the tool. This is the main objective to selection the cutting tool material. Now the description is a desirable property of the tool material. That a desirable property of the tool material are as follows. The first is wear resistance. Obviously, it's the most important point. The wear resistance, because whenever you know that when you are doing the machining and the tool, cutting edge tool is strike over the face on the surface of workpiece, and many number of forces are act on a particular point. At the time, material will be chances that a tool wearing problem occur. For resistance the tool wear, you must be giving the good hardness. So the hardness is the most important point for a particular to resist the wear, because the hardness is basically to indicate that the wearing resistance phenomena occur. Okay, if you increase the hardness, the basically the increasing the hardness with the increasing the hardness, you will reduce the wear phenomena. So what type of material, what type of alloy you will select for the increasing the quantity of hardness? So this is the most main objective. This is the main objective of this PPT, to understand the good material or how you can select it for the basis of some different condition. So if you want to prevent the material wear, if you prevent the material from the wear, you must be select those material whose material hardness will be strong. Hardness will must be more than the workpiece. Okay, so in the wear the tool is caused by abrasion, adhesion, and diffusion forces act on that particular tool material. Okay, so wearing the tool, it will reduce that the sharpness reduced, because we know that the metal wear, that means the sharpness is reduced, and for the objective is to increasing the sharpness. With the increasing the sharpness, to easily cut the metal in the very with the less timing, and the good surface property will be increased, and the good machinability will be provided. And a good machinability will be provided with the increasing the number of sharpness or increasing the number of resistance wear, that we can indicate by the increasing the hardness of that particular material. If you do not increase the hardness and you can continuously doing a machining with the very long time of the same material, same cutting tool, it must be definitely that your tool machine will not survive as a long time, and at the time the material need to change. Otherwise, your product will be damaged, or your product will be not achieve a good surface quality, and that meant the wastage of money, wastage of production, wastage of service, and wastage of labor charges you will be just preferred. So with the respectively that the wear phenomena is very more important. So with the wear phenomena, we can prevent the material for increasing the sharpness, for increasing the hardness. So what type of material we will select, we will discuss some later. Just wait for I'm just describe some property. And to describe the desirable, this is a desirable property. We want this type of property of the tool material. We want this type of property for the tool material. Whenever you are doing a machining, you just require this type of property. So this slide basically just give the information about the desirable property. What type of desirable property you will be selected for the machining, for selection of the cutting tool. So these are the some important forms you can consider here. I'm just showing you. So the first is a wear resistance. That is a wear resistance. I'm just completing you at the end. We can say that the material should be a good hardness. That's why we reduce the wear, and for reducing the wear, we increase the surface roughness. Now, hot hardness. What is hot hardness? It is measure of the ability of tool material to retain its hardness at the high temperature. And the hot hardness should be high as possible, especially as high temperature. That is indicate that if the material hot hardness will be increased with the high temperature, that means it may be chances that the more number of forces act if you are on the metal the surface of the tool, it will prevent from the wear, it will prevent from the damage, it will prevent from the tool breaking phenomena will be not occur in the surface of the tool if the tool hardness is good and more harder than the workpiece material while during the machining process. So these are some specifications. So basically, we selected for the material for the tool material. Now, second, toughness. Obviously, toughness is very important because we absorb a lot of energy and to deform the plastically to prevent the plastic without any failure. So deform the material from the to reduce the material timing, or to increasing the toughness property, but absorbing a too much amount of energy, and for both to decreasing the plastic formation without the material decreasing. So prevent the material deformation. while the material go under the various acting on the forces act on that particular tool material, prevent the material from the deformation. So the toughness is most important required property for any material. So you must be reminded. Coefficient of thermal expansion, basically it is very most important, the coefficient of thermal expansion, because there are the too many stresses act on the surface of the material, tool material, surface on the workpiece, surface on the chip formation, as well as the number of high number of heat temperature are increasing inserted on that particular material. If the temperature of tool material increase, it will increase in the heat zone, and at that time the two material chances will be wear, or a material chances to reduce the quality and decreasing the quality surface of the workpiece. So for maintaining this by increasing the surface coefficient of thermal expansion, it is the most important, also the desirable property of the designing of a single point cutting tool. Now another one is the hardness, that is the ability of a material to resist the indentation, stretching, abrasing, and cutting of the hardness of the tool material should be the high as possible, and generally it should be the higher than the workpiece. Is most important required. I've just told you many times, so it not need to explain it too much, because I'm explaining too much already for the as per the topic of hardness. Thermal conductivity basically required very high, because as well as the high thermal conductivity, the metal melting chances will be low, and heat carrying capacity must be high. So for preventing the metal from the burning phenomena, you will be increasing the thermal conductivity. With that, it will be possible to the metal will prevent as a very high temperature and will not break easily. So with increasing the thermal conductivity, with increasing the material strength, will be increasing more. Now these are the some characterizations of the some of the important tool material using for the tool to increasing the surface hardness. So what type of material we used for the cutting tool? That is these are the some usually basically material are used for the fabrication the tool, single point cutting tool or in the multi point cutting tool. So this type of material be required for increasing the such type of property we'll discuss in the previous slides. So if you increasing the property of hardness and toughness, you must be selected the tool as the high carbon steel, because in the high carbon steel, the carbon steel contain 0.6 to 1.5 degree percentage carbon. With the layers of the carbon, there is a resistance to the corrosion, very resistance to the from the wear, because you can know that the method of fabrication of high carbon steel is forging. With the help of the forging operation, you will be fabricate such type of high carbon steel, and it is the most hotter than higher end of it can very burn the temperature up to 250 degrees Celsius in during the machining it can handle, and the maximum cutting velocity of this high carbon steel tool is 5 meters per minute. So, and this is a very cheap tool, and easily purchased, and you can easily purchase the material from the any workshop of tool manufacturer. For the because we can understand that this tool are just like softer than aluminium, copper, magnesium, etc. So these all are the properties are having for the good selection property of tool material. So if you want to select that, then high carbon steel will be good for that particular operation. Second one is the high speed steel. That is the high speed steel is usually the carbon steel contain 1.5 to 2 percentage carbon and 18% tungsten, 4% chromium, 1% vanadium, and rest is iron. So these are the chemical compositions of the high speed steel. Generally, basically, in our single point cutting tool, the selection of the metal is most of the 90 to 99% are selected the high speed steel tool, because it is rapidly worldwide. This metal is generally used due to their several advantages of machining. So tungsten is added to the increase in the hardness. Chromium is used for increasing the hotness. Vanadium is increasing the use of the wearing resistance. Method of fabrication of high speed steel is forging, and the cutting velocity of high speed steel is 40 to 60 meters per minute, at a very huge amount of velocity, the cutting velocity of a material. That's why it is used for generally, and it is give the higher speed than the high carbon steel. The temperature is also increasing up to the 600 degrees Celsius, And sometimes the molybdenum is also 18% used for increasing the tungsten to increasing the wear resistance also. So these are some advantages of high speed steel material. Why we can select high speed material most of the time? Most of the time is basically used because the several advantages and the chemical composition of this material is too high. The chemical composition of this material is very high and is good property for and all the type property, desirable property we want is under the category of high speed steel material. So these are the two. I'm just giving introduction. If you have a doubt, then we will discuss with the via mail for selection the criteria of the cutting tool material. So basically, I will describe it to the high carbon steel and the high speed steel generally, and 99.9% we generally use the high speed steel material for a single point cutting tool for machining. With the given chemical composition, it is a good advantages or it provides the very the good performance capability of machining. Second is satellite. That is, these are the non-ferrous cast alloy. Stellite basically contain a 40 to 45% cobalt, 30% chromium, 14 to 25% tungsten, and 2% carbon. So the method of the fabrication of satellite is casting. Why? Due to the casting, we can fabricate this type of material. It is stellite, and it hot hardness temperature is about 1800 degrees Celsius reach, and it is about harder than the high speed steel. But it's generally used for some special purpose where the material is more harder than the high speed steel. So that's why we can select this type of material for cutting purpose. Another one is the carbide. That is the carbide, either the tungsten carbide or we can use the cemented carbide. So the content 85 to 95% used in the tungsten carbide and 5 to 15% used in the cobalt. And the hot hardness temperature of a carbide material is about the 1000 degrees Celsius reach. It is too much harder than the stellite temperature. And the cutting speed is 10 times greater than the high speed steel. It is when the material is more harder than the stellite, then this type of material will be used as per the different application and as per the different condition will be occur. If the condition is more harder than if the workpiece is more harder than a high speed steel, then you must select the material for tool as the stellite. If the workpiece capacity of hardness is as the stellite, then you will select the material for tool as a carbide. It depending on the server condition, it depending on some standard parameters of selection of the tool material. So the tool material is selected on the basis of the workpiece material. The workpiece material firstly check, and after that the tool material will be selected for this particular material. It is most important part to understand in this slide. Basically, we just our motive is to that understand the phenomena how when will we select the this type of material and for those conditions. So this answer is basically if the workpiece material is aluminium, then you must be selected for the high carbon steel as well as high speed steel. But if your material is workpiece material is harder than the high speed steel, then you must be select the stellite. And if the material is much more harder than the stellite, you must be select for the tool material is carbide. So these are depending on the server conditions and the applications of a machining operation. Ceramic and cementing both are very drastically advantages because the temperature and the cutting speed, you can see here temperature reaches about 400 temperature 12,000 degrees Celsius, and the speed cutting speed is 300 to 400 meter per minute. It is very high speed we reach basically. So at this time, but depending on the condition, I'm just showing, but disadvantage is that very low toughness and high brittle in nature. Fabrication of ceramic is done to the powder metallurgy technique. When you use for fabrication of ceramic material, you must be prefer the powder metallurgical technique. With the help of this technique, you will be prevent this type of material, fabricate this type of material. So these are the cementite material used for that particular specification, and they are shown in the figure and diagram slide. A diamond, basically, diamond is the most harder material, and the hardness temperature is about 2000 degrees Celsius. And it is most harder material to cut the any material. If any material want to cut the, this is much more lesser than the diamond. The diamond will prefer for that cutting parameter, and basically that diamond cutter, obviously, what is concerned, diamond cutter used for cut the material of very harder material. You can cut by the diamond. So these are some selection of criteria of material for the tool. These are also some material you can on a cell on are the contains in a you can is contain 50% of columbarium and 30% titanium, 20% tungsten. Method of fabrication is rolling. Basically, with the help of the rolling parameter, you can fabricate this type of material. And the salient is these all are the material we use for the as per the different applications. So I hope you understand the today's lecture, and today the concept of what we are discussing in the today's lecture, that is the shank design formation and the selection of the material for the single point cutting tool, and what are the procedure we follow for making the that particular material. So with the perspective of this lecture today, I was asking some multiple choice questions that is in front on the screen. The first question is, which of the following is an example of non-cutting shaping process? That is, options are turning, forging, drilling, milling. The right answer of this question is B. That is, forging is used for the following non-cutting shaping for process. Second question is, in which operation motion of job is rotatory and motion of cutting tool is forwarding translation? The options are turning, planing, milling, all of the mentioned. The answer is A. Third is, the tool life is affected by the following options are depth of cut, cutting speed, feed rate, and all of this. The all answer of this question is D. All of the cutting parameters used to affected the tool life. Fourth is, hard and tough material like cast iron should be turned at options are slow speed, high speed, any speed, or certain specific speed. And the answer is slow speed. It's basically we can prefer for a hard and tough material as a cast iron. Fifth one is MC question, that is the effect of setting a boring tool above the certain height leads to, the options are increasing the effect rack angle and decreasing the effect of clearance angle, increasing in both the effect of rack angle and decreasing the effect of clearance angle, decreasing in the effect of rack angle and increasing the effect of clearance angle, and lastly decreasing in the both the effect rack angle and affecting clearance angle. The correct answer of the question is A, that is increasing in the effect rack angle and decreasing in the effect clearance angle. Next is the machining of titanium with difficulty due to the following options are the high thermal conductivity of titanium, chemical relation between the tool and the workpiece, C is low tube chip in the contact area, and fourth is none of them. So the correct answer of this is C, that is a low chip tool chip contact area. Seventh is for machining a cast iron, the workpiece is a high speed steel tool. The average cutting speed is 10 meter per minute and 15 meter per minute, 22 meter per minute, and 30 meter per minute. The correct answer is C, 22 meter per minute. Next question is, a single point thread cutting tool should ideally have A is equal to 0 rack angle, B positive rack angle, C negative rack angle, and D is point angle. The correct answer of this question is A, is 0 rack angle. Ninth is, in which of the following machine the work rotated and the tool is stationary? The correct answer of these options are vertically boring machine, horizontal boring machine, precision boring machine, jet boring machine. The correct answer of these questions is A, is vertical boring machine. And the last question is, the size of the lathe is especially by A is equal to length between the center, B swing diameter over the head, C swing diameter over the carriage, and D is equal to all of the D's. The correct answer is all of the D's are the size of the lathe we consider. So these are some textbook I am just preparing you for this lecture. Understanding, if you want to understand the more detail in the practical or the numerical portion of this particular slide PPT, you can prefer with this books with some standard writer and publish. I am showing in the front of you. So if you have any doubt, any query, then you will drop a mail on my email ID amit.tiwari@mycanva.com and contact me on my mobile number at 690319448. I hope you enjoy so much, and thank you much for understanding the this lecture. Thank you so much.